If g of x is equal to ln of x and f is a differentiable function of x, which of the following is equivalent to the derivative of f of g of x with respect to x? So when you look at each of these four options over here, just keep in mind that these are representing the derivative or possible derivatives of this f of g of x. So if we're going to go ahead and take the derivative of this f of g of x, that's going to be d dx of this f of g of x. So let's go ahead and just write that down first. And when we go ahead and take the derivative of this composite function, right, we have this f of g of x here, we're going to have to use the chain rule. With chain rule, we have our outside function and our inside function. Our outside function here is going to be f of x, and our inside function here is going to be g of x. And so when we go ahead and take the derivative using the chain rule, we're going to go ahead and take the derivative of the outside function, so f prime of this g of x. But then we're also going to have to go ahead and multiply this by the derivative of that inside function. So the derivative of that g of x is going to be g prime of x. Now let's see if we can use some information that we're being told. We know that g of x is equal to ln of x, so let's go ahead and see. We see g of x and g of x located in these two locations, so let's go ahead and substitute in ln of x into each of these spots here. Substituting in that ln of x into our g of x function in the derivative here, we have f prime of this ln of x. We go ahead and multiply that by g prime of x. We'll go ahead and highlight this to keep it the same here. Now, if you look at each of these answer choices, notice that they all have this f prime of x as a part of these answer choices. So it looks like we can go ahead and leave this part alone. I think what we're going to have to figure out, though, is what is g prime of x, or the derivative of this g of x function. So on the side here, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do it in this purple color. So let's go ahead and figure out what the derivative of g of x is equal to. All right, so if we know that g of x is equal to ln of x, let's see, on the side here, I'm going to say that g prime of x, that's going to be the derivative of ln of x. Keep in mind the derivative of ln of x is always just going to be 1 over what you're taking the natural log of. In this case, it's going to be x. So g prime of x is going to be 1 over x. So let's go ahead and take this 1 over x expression and substitute that in for this g prime of x. And so if we do that, we're going to get that this derivative is going to be f prime of this ln of x multiplied by this 1 over x. So we have this expression over here multiplying by 1 over x. Keep in mind that that's going to be the same thing as that f prime of ln of x divided by x. So we can go ahead and rewrite this and say another version of this is going to be f prime of this ln of x divided by x. And so if you go ahead and look at our answer choices, I think we're going to have to go with D, this f prime of ln of x over x.